Let's go. Welcome to another episode of the DTK podcast. Today, we have another extraordinary guest, someone that is part of our actual core family, someone that has been growing with us, someone that we're very proud to formally introduce on our podcast. If you're already a member of our community, you are very familiar with the absolute legend, Maryam, the Curly Trader. How you doing today, girl?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
The Curly Trader. Everyone knows in the Discord who she is, but if you don't, just do like a little introduction of like who you are and what you're about and all that stuff.
Man, okay. Well, I recently became the Curly Trader. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm the Curly Trader, aka Maryam. I just started my trading journey 4 years ago, and I started to really dive into it not too long ago, about a year ago now. So here I am now, fresh on social media.
Let's go.
I'm here sitting down with the DTK team. So
Why do they call you the Curly Trader? I wonder.
I don't know. Maybe
It's the locks.
I think it's right.
Oh, guys, she does some of the best content I've seen on Instagram, on TikTok. She is so impressive with her trading skills. And we're really like alike when we go on voice chat. If you guys ever go to the Discord, when we trade live on voice chat, she's just like my, we'll say twin flame right there.
Okay.
Which is
That's a
good.
strong one.
It's a good one.
That's a great one.
Okay, twin flame right here. But honestly, if you guys ever want to like start or like have a start line, her content is some of the best that I've seen. She speaks all facts. She's to the heart, and I appreciate what you do for the trading community because not a lot of people go out of their way and just open up like that. And I think it's huge because a lot of people, they need to figure out where to start, and it could be overwhelming at times, right? What made you or what motivated you to start this? Because this is brand new for you. When did you start the Curly Trader?
September 29th.
September 29th. She's been trading for 4+ years. She started the Curly Hair Trader September 29th. Until this date, she grew her account. That's 2 months, right? Let's just say October, November, December. 3 months to 11,000 followers. That's fucking impressive.
Thank you.
That's fucking impressive.
You know, there's a lot of different things that go into good content online, right? So you got to have the right setup. You got to, a lot of people, first thing they want to do is they want to look at their setup, get the right equipment, have the lights and everything else, make sure it's very aesthetically pleasing. Check. We have that for sure. Then you have content that's actually engaging, right? Being able to retain the audience's viewership throughout the duration of the content. And that's usually either providing something of value or kind of entertaining the audience that's looking. Check. We have that. I mean, the content that I've seen you put out is just very wholesome. It's very straight to the point. It's funny. I laugh. I learn, right? So you've been able to bring together a good setup, something that's very aesthetically pleasing, fantastic curls, and even better information and presented in a way that, I mean, when I watch them, I watch the whole way through because I want to, not because I'm just supporting my family, like because I actually have something to learn.
Damn.
So you've nailed it in every way that I've seen, and that's fan-fucking-tastic.
You bring up like a good, I feel like, equation, which is laugh and learn. I feel like
Damn, I love that.
Yeah, because if you could make people laugh at the same time, making them learn something, I feel like that's the reason why you've grown so much. And you have your like true and real authentic stuff too, but like I feel like that's a good equation to have, that laugh and learn.
That's so good, dude. We got to make sure we get that domain before we publish this podcast.
Live, laugh, learn.
And if it's available by the time we publish, you earned it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's dope. So going back to like what made you, because you've been a trader for 4+ years, what made you kind of just start your like social media journey and get out there?
Yeah, I feel like it was so many things, right? Like for me, it all started out with, this is something that I really enjoy doing, and why couldn't I put myself out there and teach other people how I got into this. Especially, like, my biggest goal for anything that I've ever done, my true vision is to be a mentor for someone. And specifically, this goes way back to like my childhood days. Always wanted to be a mentor for younger women. And that for me has always been important. So while and anything that I've done in my life, whether it's been print on demand, Amazon, all these different sources of income that I've generated for myself, trading has been something that for me, I've struggled with the most. And so for me, especially as someone that I'm not a financial guru. I'm not going to sit there and, pretend like I know, obviously, I don't come from a financial background, but I've been able to teach myself ways of making money that I feel like are very, important for a lot of people to learn. And so, especially with women, right? And I don't see a lot of women in the space, especially people talking about the psychology of trading, right? And so I think that was always the forefront of any sort of content that I've created when it comes to trading, because trading is 80% mental. Anything that you do in entrepreneurship is a lot of mental struggle, right? You have to create that resiliency for yourself. So that's one of the reasons why I really got into this. And again, just being able to be a face and someone, like you said, likable, and someone that people feel like they can. It's like their internet big sis, right? So.
Yeah.
Got to get that domain too.
Internet big sis, yeah.
Internet big sis. Well, honestly, there's a bunch of what I call furus out there that overpopulate the market with a bunch of just BS or just the wrong things to learn. And I think that's the reason why you've grown so much, is because you could see how authentic you are and what you're speaking and the facts that come behind it. You're not saying like, oh, we're about to make $1 million really, really fast. You're saying like, hey, emotion is one thing, right? Learning how to trade, learning how to stay patient, learning when to get out of a trade if it's not going the right way, learning to sit on your fucking hands if there's no trades, right? Which is a big thing in the market. And I feel like not a lot of people understand that, which is what you portray to the world.
Yeah.
So I think the topic of this podcast just hit me. We've talked about a few things already, but it's just kind of circled back a time or two already. You've been trading for 4 years. Only recently are you starting to come out and put yourself out there to kind of give back to the world. We're talking about waiting until the right setups happen. We're talking about entrepreneurs that are working, and it's all mental gymnastics, right? We're putting in all the time, and we just got to be able to see it through. So I want to dedicate today's podcast to the power of patience. Ooh. I think that's kind of in alignment with what we're talking about right here, and I think that we have all really put a lot of our lives in a place where patience played a huge role in everything that we've undergone, at least, as we've gotten a little bit older. You said you actually had this desire to be a mentor and to help others since you were even younger. Yeah. So, I mean, patience all the fucking way. Here you are. Yeah. So I champion that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was something too for me. And I didn't really touch on that, but that was a big part for me. And like I said, my vision has always been to be the big sis. I have a big sister, right? Like I grew up with a sister, but like I feel like I'm the kind of person that's always tried to figure it out, and I always tried to just throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And that's also a combination of like, I was just always so curious as a young kid, but there wasn't anyone really around me that was like pushing me to do that. Yeah. And so for me, thinking back at that, I would have liked to have some sort of mentor or someone who was also doing those things or had already gone through those things. So that's why even now when I look at it, I'm like, I want to portray that and be someone's big sis, like internet big sis, and just be a support for that. So,
which is kind of the foundation of Dreams Through Knowledge, right? We're here trying to be mentors for a lot of the people in the community who are starting. And you put up a couple good points, which is not just stocks and options, even though that's one of the biggest things that we do, but patience is a virtue for a lot of other things in the community. We have people building brands on Amazon. We have people building the print-on-demand stores, and we have people doing real estate and all that stuff. But there's patience like that needs to play a role, because a lot of people, I feel like they just go out and they'll try to do something, and if it doesn't work within a month or 2 months or 3 months, then they just give up, which you need to have that patience to continue to learn and continue to grow, because this is 4+ years. We've been trading 4+ years. We've been doing Amazon for a long time, and the patience that has played a role into that, I could have give up a long time ago. And as soon as you're hit in the wall of something, you feel like giving up, is usually when you break through.
Right.
And I feel like that's kind of what happened with you when you were trading. You're like, fuck, dude, like this is a struggle. This is hard. What do I need to do? And a lot of the times is what you need to do is be a mentor to other people, which in reality, you're mentoring yourself in a way, right?
Exactly. That's the best way to learn. That's the best way. And I've said this before, but I learn the most when I'm teaching other people.
Yeah.
And I'm a kinetic learner, and I'm a visual learner as well. So when I'm teaching someone candlestick patterns or, my strategy for something, I'm learning that as well.
Yeah.
And even now that I've started my platform not too long ago, I feel like I learned a lot in this 3 months than I've learned in the last, the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
So, it's really applying yourself every day and showing up.
Yeah.
Because now I'm also showing up for other people, not just myself. And that's something to me that I hold higher value to. I don't want to disappoint anyone. So,
well, we get fulfilled the most too,
Yeah.
helping other people. It's not about like how much money we can make. For us, it's always been how many people, how many lives can we impact, right? How many individuals can we help, whether they're in this area of their life or this area of life. How can we help them be a better person and grow? Because that's what our community is really, really all about. And being patient has a lot to do with that.
Right.
Patience pays. It's that simple. Patience pays, and it's like any other important relationship that we might have, whether it is a spouse or a partner or a friend. You are always looking to grow with whatever that you're committing to. If it's a business, consider it a relationship. Yeah. You're investing the time, you're climbing that uphill battle together, you and your mind, and there's always going to be setbacks. It's never going to be a straight road. There's going to be fights between you and yourself, other people that might be involved. It's going to feel like things may not be working out, but the only people that see it through are the people that see it through. It's that fucking simple. There is no other way around it. If you end up hitting a home run right off the bat, congratulations. But it doesn't happen that frequently, and easy come, easy go is something that I truly learned and live by as well. Yeah. So patience pays, and that means seeing things through for the long run.
Yeah. It really is when you're like ready to give up is when you really should keep going.
Yeah.
That's when you feel like unless you feel like you've really truly exhausted all your resources, which typically isn't the case, right? But that's when you really need to keep going, because you don't know, you could really be like 3 feet away from gold, and you have
Why do you think
idea.
people give up at that, like at that point?
It's so many things, right? It's self-doubt, it's limiting beliefs, they call it the valley of despair.
Ooh.
You really feel like you go into something with all this confidence because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so you go into something thinking, especially with trading, right? Especially with trading, you go into it like, oh, I saw so-and-so with the Lambos and the, designer thing, whatever, and you're like, I could do that. Yeah. I got this, right? And then you get into it and you realize, oh, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? And so, you spend all this time trying to figure out your psychology and your strategy, and you're trying to formulate all these, ideas. But in reality, it's like, you really should be focusing on one thing, and that's your emotions, especially when trading, right? So you get to this point where you're now down a lot of money. You don't know what to do, because you're losing your mind because you don't have a strategy, you don't have an edge, you haven't figured it out completely. But once you really pick yourself out of that and start focusing and taking it slow, being patient with the process, that's when you start to pick yourself out of that hole. And then you start holy shit, there's the light. I'm just going to keep going. So that's how, when people are in that valley of despair, that's when they need to really keep going.
Well, absolutely. I mean, if a relationship is is, and there are times to turn away once you have
Correct.
exhausted those efforts. But going
Right.
back to our visions, our beliefs, our desires, like if those things are all there where we know that we have not, relationships that are struggling, right? So if you're with a partner and things are just feel like they're crumbling beneath your feet, if you love them and you desire to keep going in that relationship, you're not going to go have an affair with another person, right? Same thing with business. You don't just walk away from one thing that you're working on and move on to the next just because the one that you're in a relationship with in that moment is not working out. You got to see it through. You got to stay loyal to what you committed to. And only once you've made the decision that it is simply not going to work out or it's going to cost you too much to make it work out and the reward's not worth it, then you go on. But we learned that one from Stu. He said, you don't have affairs in business. You got to stay loyal to yours.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting too, because I think in this generation, there's so many ways to make money.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost crazy how easy it is to make like $10,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
From one source of revenue.
Yeah.
But the reason a lot of people aren't being able to do that is because there's so many options. Like, you are, okay, do I focus on, Amazon? Do I focus on trading? And I've had this issue too, and that's why I think it's focusing on one thing or a few things, but also being patient and like loyal to those things, right? Like, you can't say, you can't even give yourself a time frame of like, I only give myself 3 months and then I'm going to be profitable. No, you don't know how long it's going to take you. So you really, that's the issue too, is there's so many options, but you also have no excuse not to keep going with it.
Okay, well, maybe it's okay to have a few relationships in business if things are working out.
In the context of business. Everyone's going to take this and be like, okay, make notes.
No, it's true, because when you start focusing on like other projects, right? And I always thought of this in one way. You cannot sharpen your skill, you cannot sharpen your tools while focusing on other tools, right? Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people just kind of, like you're saying, there's so many directions that you could take, that when people take one direction and they don't see a return of their investment, whether it's time or money or whatever the case is, within 2-3 months, then they just switch directions. But if you keep on doing that, you're never gonna get to your goal. You're never gonna get that end goal, depending on your end goal. But I always feel like, in order to, just like any skill in life, right? I don't go to LA Fitness and play basketball and in 3 months pretend like I'm going to be in the NBA. Like, no, you have to put that time in from the very get-go, right? And that's with anything in life. Yeah. And you see the constant work that is being put in the gym, in your skills and learning and knowledge and trading. We have to show up every single day in order to sharpen our skills, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's the main thing that people need to realize and be patient with, is you just need to, for me, my motto is always just win the day. How can I just win the day? I have my tasks that I need to get done. My tasks are going to help me improve my goals or my growth or my business. What do I need to do that day to help me improve? And that's all I want to focus on. Once I win the day, I continue to do that. And next thing you know, you might have 1 loss or 2 losses in a month, but if you look overall in the whole month, I won the month. I did what I needed to do every single day to win the month. And then you start looking at overall the year, 1% better each day is 365%, right? Yeah. So you could see the growth that continues to build up by just focusing on your goals and winning your current day, and not just going all over the place, right? I need to do this, I need to do that. No, okay, I have a business. How can I improve my business, and what do I need to do in order to improve the business? Right. Or I'm a trader. How can I improve my trading, and what do I need to learn in order to improve that? What do I need to do in order, maybe it's emotions, maybe it's learning how to properly read the charts, whatever the case is, what do I need to do on a constant basis to learn and grow? Because it's not gonna take 3 months. It's gonna take I mean, I was profitable after probably a year and a half of trading. But the thing that never stopped me since I began was showing up every single day, at least looking at the market and seeing what the hell is going on. Right. And that has improved my overall business, whether it's Amazon, whether it's investing in real estate, whatever the case is. Looking at the overall market has improved my knowledge on everything else inside the U.S. of the economy, which is fucking beautiful. But it's staying patient on our skills and what we want to do in order to grow.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I always said that trading will teach you more about yourself than anything else.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's so it can be so draining and emotionally just taxing, but it does teach you about how you are in high pressure situation as well. There's no other, and I say job because, other than having your own business, there's no other job that you're putting up money to make money. Yeah. So you're automatically at a loss for, the time being until you can get to a point of profitability. So that's already emotionally draining. So, I think going back to what you said about, this idea of instant gratification, like people want that, right? They see the person making $100,000 in one trade, but they don't, and they're like, oh, they made $100,000 in 30 minutes. No, they made $100,000 in 10 years.
Yeah.
That was 10 years of effort and sacrifice and hardship that they put into that. So there's that skewed mentality when it comes to trading as well that, again, goes back to the reason why I even started this platform in the first place. Mm-hmm. Like, I really don't post a lot of my gains on there. A heavy amount of my content is just revolved around mentality and psychology. So that's going back to that. Yeah.
That's a huge thing too, because on the other side of things, the market does sometimes provide absolutely instant gratification, right? So there's, you made a comment, it took you some time to be profitable, right? It took you some time to be profitable. I became profitable in the market very, very quickly. Yeah. And because of the gravity of how much money I was able to produce in such little time, because I hit that home run, that impacted my psychology as a trader, and it still does to this day. Yeah. So this goes back to the psychology of things. It's psychology to keep going, to persevere, to be patient, but it's also psychology to know that you need to not react certain ways. So when I trade now, my emotion is almost entirely disconnected from the trade, in a sense where I'm usually not losing my mind if the trade is going bad, and I'm also not, doing jumping jacks and push-ups if I'm, making something big. And I learned that early on because I just got numb to it, right? But now my psychology about the trade itself, because I have time and time again hit some of these home runs, puts me in a position where I tend to take a lot more risk and not exit the trades. So like I said earlier, easy come, easy go. And I've had some of those hits come and go as well. So the psychology aspect and being patient is absolutely monumental, and everybody needs it, whether they are ready to give up because they haven't monetized and it's taking time, or they're ready to give up because they made the money and lost it. Right. It applies in either direction.
I literally just made a video on this. Like, I posted it this morning about the fact that, it's so funny as traders, we're so willing to lose money on a losing trade, like stay in a losing trade, way far our invitation accepts, but like, we're not willing to stay in a winning trade long enough to see it through, right? Because, and what does that come from? A foundation of fear, right? We're so afraid of losing money, either way, even when we're winning, right? So what that causes us to do is hold on to winning trades not long enough, and then we're going way past beyond our losing risk tolerance. Yeah. So that there's a lot that goes into that. Obviously, you will never become a profitable trader in that concept. But one thing that I really look back at when I first look at how my career in trading pivoted is this one quote. And it goes, struggling traders will always be concerned with how much money they're going to win And successful traders are always concerned about how much money they're going to lose. Because if you can look at what you can control, which is how much money you're going to lose, you're going to be profitable, right? Because you're always going to protect your downside. If you're always constantly looking at, oh my God, I'm going to make $50,000 or whatever, you don't know that you're going to make that much money. You don't know that a stock is going to actually hit those price targets, but you always know how much money you can lose if you're in a losing trade.
Yeah.
So always protect your downside, always protect your capital. If you don't have capital to work with, you can't trade.
Yeah.
So
And
That shit hit, dude.
That shit really, really hit. And
Fire.
yeah, that's fire. Good shit. the funny / crazy part is we learned all of our skills like by ourselves. And I wish we had a community kind of like DTK or, like the mentors in our community to teach me the right ways, because I'd save a fucking a lot of money if I did have those mentors. But it also taught us what we know right now. But being a part of community it makes that emotion that much easier. It makes that, I feel like, anxiety or, I don't know, like when we're on voice chat every morning, I feel like it helps, and I know it helps a lot of people because they'll DM us after and just show us the love and all that. But I feel like it helps so much when you're in a part of community, because then you're not doing it alone. It's like you're walking through the valley of shadow of death, but instead of by yourself, you're doing it with a bunch of your comrades, your family members, your community, which is tremendous. Like, I think that's a big, big thing.
It is an absolute game changer, for sure. I mean, I absolutely would not have ever gotten into trading if one, you didn't pull me in, and two, we didn't have that group of guys that were coming together and kind of talking about it and really making it a real thing. I mean, I was 1,000% against getting involved in the stock market. I'm Middle Eastern. My family, always said, hey, it's a gamble. You're literally, I know it's a saying online now, but they've been saying this shit since I was younger. It's like you might as well go to the casino. You might as well go just like hit that slot machine, and we sure fucking did. I mean, we went to the casino all the time, dude. Like, we know what it is, right? But
you did as like your kid, like as a kid, or
not as a child, like as an adult. You know what I mean? But when I was younger, from maybe like 18 to 23, like that was my casino. I'd go to Morongo. I would be there. Like,
your parents went or no?
My dad would, my pops would go, my uncles would go, my cousins would go. Like the men in the family would go. But at least at the casino, you could just, click a button or like hit the little, whatever the bar is on the side of the slots, and you don't have to rely on your information. So there's this misconception that people on Wall Street, the professionals, know so much more than us and have access to more information than us, which is true to a degree because of the network they've built, right, and the infrastructure that exists there, but that we would never be able to compete, and it's just so far beyond our pay grade. So unless you are educated or you hold the right degrees or licenses, you should not get involved with the stock market, is what what was embedded to my head. So I told Dan, I remember telling him, I was like, bro, it's like, I'm not gonna, dude, gambling is a real thing. I'm like, this is not my shit. I don't know anything about the stock market. I'm not going to get involved. And he just wouldn't let it go. He kept pressing me. And then one day I was like, you know what, dude, fuck it, bro. Let's see what's up. And here we are. And this all started because the right individuals, a small group of guys came together. I had a good friend that was persistent in making sure that even though I didn't see the value in it, he kept shaking me up and saying, bro, open your fucking eyes. Come, you need to be a part of this. Look at what we have now. We have a community. We have a bunch, not just a bunch. We have a whole network of individuals. I really don't like using the word like-minded. I feel like it's said very often, but these people have the same goals and desires, that you may not be aligned on the exact method of procuring those goals and desires, but we're all coming together to make money in the market, educate ourselves, lift each other up, help each other be accountable, hold each other accountable, and really just be there together to let the rest of the community know that we're not alone. And that feeling, I swear to God, I just got fucking hella goosebumps right now saying that right now. Like, that feeling of knowing you are not on your own is more valuable than I could have ever imagined, because everything I did in my life leading up to DTK was always on my own. I mean, I never took handouts from anybody. I didn't really have anybody to go to advice for. I mean, I love and I cherish and I appreciate and I acknowledge every one of my family and friends that has been there to support me through the process, because the amount of support I've had is abundant. Like, there's no lack there. But when it comes to the fucking day-to-day and actually getting the shit done, it was always a gamble, like, on my fucking self. And there were no fucking handouts and there was no help and there was no guidance. So where could we have been if we had somebody that already paid the fucking tuition and could fucking give us that guidance? I don't look back and feel that I lacked any of that, because I feel that that lack of having it is what allowed us to be as like fucking relentless as we are with this desire to fucking make this happen. And maybe that's a part of our purpose, right? Like, there's different degrees of what our purpose is, internally, externally, what we're doing. But we have a network now, and our goal is to just share the fucking information and fucking help each other fucking win.
Go.
That's it. That's all this fucking is. And now we have that. We fucking have that, and that's fucking real, and it's a fucking major fucking blessing. So now we're in a place where we are actually impacting lives.
I love that.
Like, that's fucking it.
Yeah,
so let's
that's
fucking go, dude.
Woo!
Fuck yes.
I love that.
Air five. Well, what really like pushed me to help others like get involved in the market is number one thing is majority, if not all of the rich in this world, the 1%, they own majority of the stocks. And you got to question, why are the rich owning these stocks? Why are they invested in these businesses? What are they doing? What do they know? Because we never got taught this in high school or middle school or in taxes and all that stuff. And so it's always like been like a hidden kind of, like put this with a bunch of pages and hopefully it's bored enough for them to not realize what the hell is going on. But I've always been so fascinated in why the rich would be investing in the market and the S&P and the ETFs and all that stuff. Forget day trading. Day trading is one thing. Day trading is maybe 10 to 20% of our full portfolio. What breaks us out is the long-term investing and believing in certain companies for the long term, right? Whether it could be GameStop or whether it could be the ETFs like S&P or QQQ, whatever the case is. Understanding a business and going for the long and seeing the value of the business grow. Just look at Apple, just look at Facebook, just look at Amazon, just look at them 10 years ago. The amount of money you would have calculated or you would have accumulated in the last 10 years would be insane. And I always was like, okay, why is no one really talking about this? Like, what can I do to break the barrier from like the retail investors to the smart, all cash, all rich investors, right? And that was the core learning for me is, okay, I got to study why people are invested into these ETFs. I got to study why people are invested into the FANG, right? Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, all that stuff, NVIDIA. I got to study what the hell is going on, because if the rich are continuing to pour their money and continuing to get rich, why aren't we? And that was the main thing that I wanted you to bring on. Like, yeah, trading and options could get us to one level, and we always do that. But also, don't neglect the long term and the long term gains. Even from this year up, we invested in Meta on the dip. We're up 130% on that. Up 60% on Intel, up 40% on Apple. When the stock markets go down, when it's red, those are my favorite days. That's what I've turned. And that's when it's like, okay, those are sales. Like, you continue to go in and you see the investors continue to just make money, and you're like, okay, we have to do the same thing. We have to follow what we weren't taught, because that's a huge game changer for not only ourselves, but our future families, our future selves, our retirement. I'm not banking on a 401k, right? I'm using the capital that I've gained to continue to invest. And if the market does go down, I will average in or buy the dips in and go from there. But you just continue to just see just the rich getting richer off that.
You know what we're going to do? I've always thought about this. We're going to look, I'm going to see if I could find the data. I'd love to know what Americans have spent on Black Friday every year for the last 10 years and how much money they would have made if, instead of spending it at those stores, if they're publicly traded, they invested it in those stores.
Yeah.
So whether it's Best Buy or Apple or anything else, if we took the money that we spent as Americans on Black Fridays, what could we have done if we waited for the sales to happen in the market and spent it there instead? You know, what would have happened if I bought fucking Bitcoin instead of Bacardi back in 2010? Like when I was fucking young, you know, where would we fucking be, right? But
Well,
we're spending the money on all the wrong things, and it's not that they're the wrong things. We should spend our money. Like the economy requires us to spend our money, and it's all good for everything. But we got to be aware of spending and investing, investing in things that we spend our money on, right?
Right. I think that's the thing too with the stock market. There's two things to that. It's, some people I hear say, oh, but it's too late for me. What am I going to do? You know, or I don't have money, or I can't put money in the stock market right now. I don't know what money or what stocks to put it into. And it's like, first of all, it's never too late. You know, like you said, Danny, when you compound that, right, it's a parabolic move to the top. It's exponential, right? That's why, you know, even if you put your money into a Roth IRA or whatever, something that is compounding every year or every month, that the market, this is what's crazy, the market grows at an average rate of 7 to 10% every single year. That means if you put in, you know, $10,000, right, that $10,000 is going to grow at least $700 each year. And that's the crazy thing to me, because this year alone, this month alone, right, the market grew over 10% in just 1 month. And so that's the wild thing, is they're missing out on opportunities like this. I honestly believe that the stock market is one of the best wealth generating opportunities that we have today.
1,000%.
And, you know, people are either afraid or you also have people that were in during the COVID times, right?
And the main thing is no knowledge of it.
Right.
The lack of knowledge.
Right. Exactly.
Fear of knowledge.
The fear of knowledge, absolutely. And, you know, even like during COVID, a lot of people there was a surge of people getting into the market because there was nothing else to do. People were getting furloughed, they didn't have jobs. So the market is where people turn to. But what happened during COVID, right? 2021, great boom for the year. But then what happened? 2022, stock market started to dip. People started to panic. They started to close out their positions. Here we are in 2023, entering 2024, the highest the market's ever been.
Yeah, we're approaching all-time highs on the market. QQQ is at all-time highs. Tech is at all-time highs, or at least 52-week highs for a lot of them. And to come back to how much Americans spend on Black Friday, $60 billion in one day.
That's insane. It was more this year.
It was at the highest this year. That was 2022. So we are, as Americans, spending, these are facts, we are spending at the highest amount, and at the same time we have the highest amount of credit card debt with Americans. So it's like, if you would have just like understood the market, and I'm not an advocate of this, or I'm not preaching this, but if you took that same amount of money that you were spending and the credit cards, whatever the case is, and put that in a simple ETF like SPY, gaining 7 to 10% each year, I'm up like 24% on SPY, and that's just average is 7 to 10%. So we're above that. But I didn't miss that opportunity, right? So when you're saying 2022, when the market went down, I was all for it. I want the market to go. I always tell people I want the market to go down, because that is our entrance to our opportunity for our growth over the next 10, 20, 30 years. Because if you're banking on a 401k, or if you're banking on your savings account with inflation coming up and staying as high as it is, you're going to be fucked. I promise you that.
Yeah, well, I mean, between inflation and interest rates, it's fucking impossible to get ahead if you're not investing your money.
Right.
And putting in the
Impossible.
time. And
Not investing your
seeing it
money, but
through.
also not investing into yourself on other
Absolutely.
ways to make passive income. It could be stocks. It could be growing a business. We have, shout out Sheik. He created his own Amazon business. I think 20% of his inventory is gone already, and he's only been up for like a week and a half. He took the money that he made in the market to invest in his own brand or businesses.
Yeah.
So it's what you gotta like focus on. I think new poll came out today. 60% of Americans today feel like we're in a recession. And whether you believe we're in a recession or not, depending on how they change the rules and everything like that, technically we are with GDP. But forget about that. 60% of Americans feel like we're in a recession. I think it was, I'm not too sure on this number, but I know more than half of Americans who are making $150,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. So there's a fucking issue right there. And that's either the lack of knowledge or lifestyle inflation plays a big role too, not just inflation. If you guys don't know what lifestyle inflation is whenever you get that raise, you automatically assume that you could afford a better car, a bigger house, or new toys or anything like that. Then you just keep on putting yourself in that hole, right? When you could have got a raise and invested into the market and continued to go and build your true retirement account. I always tell people I have enough money saved as savings to live for 2 months on the savings. Everything else is always invested into the market. Like I treat the stock market as my true savings. I'm paying my future self later down the line. So it's an issue when you see these numbers that Americans are high with credit card right now. Americans are spending at all-time highs. Americans are living paycheck to paycheck when they're making $150,000 a year. Like, where is the lack of information, and what's going wrong with those Americans? Are they like not seeing like the true downfall?
I don't think it's necessarily. It's always going to be your own fault, right? We're responsible for our own actions and pretty much everything that's going on with our lives, because we always have the choice to let something go and move on, even if it's fucking impossible, at a glance, right? So at the end of the day, we are all accountable to ourselves. But I don't think that most people signed up for the situation that we're undergoing on a much larger scale. I personally think that the system's fucking broken and that it puts people at a very, very big disadvantage right off the get-go. So then people are now, if you understand this, if you understand that you're working against the fucking grain with the system, you understand that you have a few options. One, you either accept it and you keep going along and playing the game of, showing up somewhere you don't want to show up to make just enough money to live paycheck by paycheck, which, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, and that's totally fine. People sometimes just want to be able to get by, and that's totally acceptable. But
that's not totally acceptable.
No, it is for some people.
Because
some people,
their retirement later down the year is not going to be totally acceptable when they live paycheck to paycheck. You can't work all your life, right?
But I also believe, no, you cannot. But some people do, right? Like, for instance, if I leave the country, I'll see, I've traveled a lot in Asia, and I'll see people working. Literally, I've seen women like with a cigarette in their mouth at 90 years old and a concrete bag on their back with no flip-flops on, and they're working. So are we capable of doing it? Yes. Do we want to do it? Absolutely not. So we should be looking at how we can avoid doing it. But some people accept just getting by. Some people do, and that's something that we cannot change. But what we're trying to do is inform and challenge everybody to consider a different perspective. Okay, you can accept this life, you can accept being in a disadvantaged situation, but have you considered maybe expanding your network? Have you considered taking the time to change your habits? What time you wake up, whether or not you're drinking on a daily basis? How are you coping with these disadvantages? Are you getting fucked up to numb the pain and get away from everything every single day? Or instead of wasting those 3 or 4 hours at night, because that's how a lot of people fucking do it, they cope using substances. Are you taking that time to be sober and then invest in actually learning new skills, meeting the right people, getting to know the right network, surrounding yourself with people that are going to pick you up, and actually invest in making a change, right? We all have options. Yeah. And at the end of the day, on a much larger perspective, nobody knows what's right or wrong. All we know is that we see what's possible and that we choose not to suffer in that way anymore because we have suffered in that way in the past. So now our goal, I think, collectively is to be there for others, to show them, hey, we have suffered, right? Yeah. I think that's a big, I think our pain points and what we've undergone is what truly fuels why we have this true fucking desire, this relentless desire to actually make an impact and have an influence. It's not what we're gonna receive back. Yes, we feel so fulfilled, but that's why, because we've been through those times. So we are fighting against a broken system. The system is not built in a way where it's going to allow us to flourish. It's built in a way to keep us in debt for fucking perpetuity, like for the rest of our lives. That's how the system works, and it's functioning as intended, I would think, even though it's not the right way.
No, it is. You can see it in the facts. Like Americans spending, going again, Americans all-time high on spending, Americans all-time high credit, Americans all-time high on buy now, pay later. That's a part of the system that's
absolutely
fucking us.
So how do we get out of it, right? If you have the desire to seek change, if you're tired of fucking waking up hungover, showing up, driving an hour and a half to a commute to go fucking to a job where you're barely fucking getting by, where you're not spending enough time with your family, where you're unhappy, where you're being treated poorly by your coworkers, or the friends that are around you don't truly value you, they're putting you down, they're not supporting you. Do you desire change? Do you desire to see it different?
The biggest thing is self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
It does all start with self-awareness.
That's the very first thing is, self-awareness. And then going back to, like, do not think, like, I want to preach this because I feel like it's so powerful. When people are just too much in the future, like self-awareness is the very first thing, but doing stuff today that will, again, win the day. Mm-hmm. What can you do today that changes your habits or changes the way you think or view, or what can you, like, make a plan for the next 30 days, 6 months, and a year? And matter of fact, while you're listening to this, I will encourage you to make a vision board for 2024. That's so impactful, and you get a full view of what you want to do for that year. You could break it down with your health, your family, what you desire, your personal goals, your business goals, all that stuff. But then, like, do not neglect the days as a day, right? Meaning, what are you going to do if you want to start a business? What are you going to do today to help you win the day so that you could continue, right? Or if you want to lose weight, or if you want to run a marathon. We have Maryam running a marathon, running the LA marathon in March, right?
In March, yeah.
Let's fucking go. I'm so fucking excited for that.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. But what she did is, okay, I have a goal to run the LA marathon. Now, what are you doing on a daily basis to reach that goal, right? It's not like you just fucking sign up for the LA marathon and then hopefully you get, you're training.
I did really just sign up for the LA marathon with no running experience.
But that's the end goal. But you understand that today is what's going to make you, like, more powerful or stronger in the future, right? Doing the stuff that you're doing today and winning the day is going to help you out in the future.
Right. And I think, like, everything that you said goes back to, yes, it's understanding and being self-aware, right? I am not where I want to be. But also realizing you're the creator of your own reality. Mm-hmm. If you don't want to be in a certain situation, you have the choice to get out of it. Whether it's, a place that you live in that you don't like, or around having certain friends that don't align with your greater purpose. Get new friends, go network. Like, you have the whole, like, power.
Yeah.
You're the main character of your life.
Yeah.
So that's number one. But also realizing that what you don't know is what you don't know, right? For me, starting to run a marathon, I have never run anything further than a 5K. Who the hell am I to run 26 miles?
This sounds familiar, huh?
Motherfucking Maryam, girl, you are you. You are the creator of your own reality. Is who you fucking are, dude.
Right?
I'm
but it's
proud of
also,
that.
thank you. And it's also just, okay, I'm going to run a marathon, right? This is something that I never would have thought that I could do. But again, it's the limiting beliefs that I've set for myself. I'm not a runner.
Yeah.
I don't run.
Yeah.
Who the hell am I, right? Why can't I run though? Start slow, right? I ran 8 miles. I've never run 8 miles in my life. Yeah. Again, I'm reaping the consequences of that with my body right now. Not really liking it.
She came over here with crutches, by the way.
They're in the corner. So, but at the same time, it's breaking those limiting beliefs for myself. And I'm going to run that marathon. If I'm going to finish that damn marathon,
right.
But like also teaching myself that I can do hard things.
Yeah.
I can fucking do hard things. And so can you.
Yeah.
Right?
Preach it.
Like, what's stopping you?
Everyone is capable of anything as long as they put in the time and the work and they really truly believe in consistency, right? I really truly believe that, and I know that for a fact because I see people do it on a daily basis. Mm-hmm. I see 21, 22-year-olds making over $1 million in TikTok shop. I see people who are young, Jabril doing the Pacific, the rentals, right, for real estate. I see people building their brands and their businesses. Like I see it all the time, and I see what they did to get there, and I see the vision, and it was not overnight. It took a day-by-day scenario and situation to get there. And I think we come back in full circle. It's the power of patience, right? Mm-hmm. And it's realizing, again, what is your end goal? Be self-aware of it and be patient with yourself every single day to get there. Every single day is not going to be a win. You're going to have those L's. Yeah. But in reality, those L's and how you take them are really what sets you up for a bigger win the next day. And as long as you're patient with yourself and you are loving to yourself too, because like a lot of my issue is like, fuck man, like I should be doing this or that, or I should have like in the bank and all that stuff. And I always forget how far we've come and how far we've got here. And it's not, I was telling someone the other day, you want to really feel rich, like count the things you can't buy with money. That's how you really feel rich. Having the friends and having the family and having the support, those are all things you cannot truly buy with money. And that makes me feel so fucking rich inside. Having the community of people in our Discord that come up to us and say, hey, like, thank you for teaching us and motivating us and being our mentor. That's what makes us feel rich inside, right?
I know, I just got you.
And I've always felt that, and I've always understood now that's not about how much money you can make, but at how many lives you could truly impact. And us three are doing that right here in the front line. And I couldn't be more proud of every single one of you, especially you two, and what you guys are doing to help these people, because it is fucking huge. You don't understand the amount of chaos that people go on a daily basis that they do not talk about. And I will praise this. You guys could always come. We're always going to be open arms. If you ever need a talk, if you ever need a support, if you ever need just someone to just listen, right? Yeah. We will always be there. And I'm super proud to have you guys, not only as members and mentors in the Discord, but also my fucking family. And I cannot buy that with a lotto ticket. I cannot buy that with millions of dollars. I cannot do, like, that's true authentic friendship and love and family. And that's what our core values are with DTK, and that's why I know this is going to be so successful beyond our imagination. And I'm just grateful, and I want to show gratitude to you both.
Love that. Thank you.
Fucking what the fuck? If this is not the epitome of true wealth, what is?
Really?
Exactly.
This is wealth. We are truly abundantly wealthy. And I say that all the time, and I mean it with all of my heart. We are fucking wealthy. I am basking in wealth. all the time
Yeah.
with the love and support that we have, like we just saw right now. This is wealth, and no amount of money could ever replace that. And that's the interesting part, because we spend so much of our time focusing on the money and sacrificing, getting away from the wealth that we have right in front of us, that eventually it goes away, right? We spend it in all the wrong places. So we got to always recenter ourselves. We're proud of you too. We are grateful for you too. If I need to fucking say it, because I just jumped into acknowledging that you're right, but we are absolutely proud and we're grateful too. But this is it. We are abundantly wealthy, and there is no reason to suffer in silence. There is absolutely no reason to suffer in silence. I think a lot of us choose to suffer in silence, and that needs to stop. We need to make it more of a norm to speak out about what we're going through. Maryam, I know that you're a big proponent of being kind of a mentor and a vessel to the woman in this world, because absolutely 1000% there's been years and years and years of oppression, and women have suffered in silence for as far back as eternity can go, as far as we fucking know. And women do need to have the ability to see that internet big sister that they can come to and relate with, and have some smiles and laughs with when they see your content, and feel that they have somebody that I can reach out to. At the same time, I feel that kind of a similar responsibility to men as well. I feel like as a Middle Eastern man, we have been kind of bred to suffer in fucking silence, and you got to fucking choke on your fucking shit and not say a word about it. So I'm a big proponent in that. We cannot suffer in silence. I want to normalize. I want to open the conversation to, and this doesn't mean spill everything you're going through to everybody you run into, but finding the right people that will listen to you and hear you and give me the look that the two of you guys are giving me right now, because I mean, the attention's always fucking there, but I feel you guys looking into my soul through my fucking limo tent glasses right now. Like, it's fucking there. So no more suffering in silence. We all have people that we can get to. We are creators of our own reality, and it's very fucking important that we always acknowledge the fucking abundance of wealth that we have. So the formula should be then the patience to see our vision through, the love of self that is necessary to remind us why we're doing what we're doing, and that we're doing a fucking good job even if it's not fucking working yet. And then the accountability that we have to put on the fucking table to make sure that we're fucking truly committing to the promises we made to ourselves. If we have those three things, I think that, and this is kind of a summary of everything that I feel that we've talked about. If we have those three things, we're gonna coin it PLA for today. So if we have the fucking PLAs, that's it. That's it. Patience, love, and accountability. It's everything else comes.
100%.
I love that. So as we wrap up, we usually do 2 questions. You want to get one?
All fucking day, bro. We got Maryam right here on the podcast with us. Of course I'm gonna get one. What you mean?
Stupid question.
Come on, dude.
Come on, man.
No, it's only because I know you got more than one question. There's so many good questions.
I go, hey, bro, run this
Where do we start?
Check my notes real quick. I think the first thing is I want to, because I think I know what your question will be, but I want to.
I don't even fucking know you.
I know. I already know. I want to ask you if you had a conversation with your younger self, right? If you had a conversation with your younger self, what would you tell Maryam?
Oh man, I feel like I need to look into a camera right now.
Yeah,
talking to her.
maybe.
To my younger self, I would probably say something along the lines of, you might feel like you're lost right now. You might feel like you don't really have anyone to look up to. You're kind of testing things. You're curious. And there's a lot that you are struggling with your identity right now, because you don't really know who you are, right? But just keep going. Just break those limiting beliefs to yourself and know that you're always going to find a way. Listen to that intuition, listen to that gut feeling that you have, because that's what's going to see you through to the end. And don't ever let someone tell you how to live your life. If you feel like you are called to do something, go for it. Don't let anyone tell you how to wear your hair, how to dress, how to do your makeup, how to talk to people, you know all the right answers to that. So hitting you with the curly hair trader, because I used to straighten my hair all the time.
Yeah.
So stop straightening your hair.
Yeah.
Live that life, girl.
I fucking love
curly
that.
hair.
Brandon, how the fuck do we drop these mics?
Slap it out of the way.
I still don't know what to ask, but life is better with fucking waves, right?
Hey,
that's
let's
it.
go.
That's beautiful. And whether I had a sense of direction or not, I truly kind of, I have this thing where I never like to think my conversations through or plan ahead. I like to just literally feel them as they're coming out of my mouth the way they are right now. Maryam, you have so many extremely valuable things to say. We've received a lot of love from you, support from you, education, information from you. If you went back like you did and you told your kid self all these things, when you said that, that really resonated with me. Now, what about going back to what your goal is, what you truly want to achieve, and that's having an impact on the woman without the voice and the women that are not being represented, the people that don't have that internet big sister. If there is either the whole world watching you right now and you could say one thing, or one person that you could have just the biggest, most profound change, and they need to hear something that would just shift them. One statement, what would you tell them?
Wow.
They're on the fence.
I know.
They're in the valley of despair. They feel like nothing is working. They feel like they have nowhere to go, and they're sitting, staring alone. They're suffering in silence.
Wow. There's a lot of things that I want to say, but it's essentially that you're so close to what you want in life. You are literally, and I say this, you are literally the creator of your reality. What do you want, right? Why couldn't you have that? Why couldn't you get yourself out of a place that you're sitting in right now? This could be the lowest point of your life. So why not look for something higher? Because you can always attain what your mind visions for you. Why couldn't you? Why couldn't you run a marathon? Why couldn't you trade and become successful? Why couldn't you have that dream relationship that you've always wanted? Why couldn't you go and, just be successful in your life? Start believing that for yourself. Like, start really, truly believing that for yourself, and you can attain that. Because once you start to move the ball, once you start to really have that momentum, there's nothing that's going to stop you. The only thing that's going to stop you is yourself. Not your mom, not your sister, not your friends. It's you. You are the creator of your own reality. So keep going, because you're limitless. So that's all I would say.
You can't fucking see it, and this is not just a fucking statement, but I am actually crying right now.
No, oh my gosh, I got teary-eyed.
I'm keeping my fucking eyelids like peeled closed, like just the right amount to prevent my fucking tears from falling past my fucking lenses. But when you fucking said it, just, I mean, this is the absolute fucking, this could be the fucking low. You need to see it through. Yeah. You need to fucking see it through.
And
your words
yourself.
just resonated with me so fucking hard, dude. I'm so grateful for that gift that you just shared with me right now, and maybe with the whole world, or maybe with the one person that needed to hear it.
Mm-hmm. And that's always the goal, even with the content that I create. If it's one person that it's helping, I don't care. At least I helped one person. Yeah. Right? So, and I, just going back to this, right? Like, you guys, even me sitting on this couch right now, this wouldn't have happened if, we didn't all somehow connect, right? You and I lived in the same place for a whole year. And we always connected, but it wasn't until I physically moved that we reconnected. And now,
pays, girl.
3 months later, right?
Patience
pays. So.
Everything when the time is right, right?
Yeah.
We don't know. We don't know when the time is right. We don't know. Actually, I just believe that we just don't truly know what anything is, what we want, what's right, what's wrong. We think that certain things should be a certain way. So I think a lot of times people believe that they want something, and it may not be right. They might think that something might be best for them right now. That might not be right. You know, maybe if I would have, you know, kept a substantial portion of the fortune I made back in 2021, I would have not fucking been here right now. DTK wouldn't have been what it is. I wouldn't have connected with all of the very beautiful blessings in the form of people that I've met this year. I wouldn't be close to my family anymore. These podcasts would not be happening. I mean, there would have been a life path change because Steph and I did talk, and we had time to come up with a decision. The fortune was there for several weeks, and we seriously considered just selling everything and buying a house in Texas and moving away. We would have been on our own, and this would not have happened. None of this would have happened. It's a life path change for all of us based on the decision of one, right? Like.
That's amazing.
Who knows what's right and what's wrong? We just have to wait and allow the universe to give us when we're prepared to receive. That said, I fucking love you guys. This was an extraordinary podcast. It's not about expectations, but it just moved me in so many fucking ways. And I think that you've always shared so many gifts with us, Maryam. Dan, you always share many gifts with us. But today I am grateful for this gift that you left me with at the very end of the podcast. So nothing but fucking love, dude. Let's fucking get it.
Merry Christmas, motherfucker.
And Happy New Year. Thank you guys.
Guys, if you want to, first of all, thank you guys for showing so much love and support to the podcast and to our social media and to Maryam's. If you want to follow us and get any up-to-date news and notifications, we do have our Twitter, DTK Dreamers. Our Instagram is DTK Dreamers. Everything is DTK Dreamers for us. For Maryam, it's The Curly Trader.
The Curly Trader on Instagram. I have TikTok and Twitter and YouTube.
And we actually do have, this is exciting news because we are planning a bunch of webinars that are coming out in 2024. Maryam and I are frontlining all of that stuff. I think the first one is early January, so be I guess aware of that,
on the lookout. Yeah,
be on the lookout for that. We're gonna help individuals who don't know anything or in the beginning stages, kind of go from the knowledge that we're teaching in our Discord and our community. So be on the lookout for that. Other than that, we appreciate you guys always. We love you guys always. This has been a fantastic interview and podcast, and we know we've been a little late with the podcast, so happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and 2024 is going to be a big year for all of us. I could already feel it. Shout out to Brandon, TBD Studios for doing the podcast and setting us all up always. We much love to everyone in our Discord and our family, and feel free to hit us up. Love you guys so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Peace.
Peace.
Let's go.